Hey guys, welcome to a new video, and today we are doing some makeup. I found a 1940s makeup tutorial online, and this comes straight from Hollywood because this was shared by Eddie Sense, who was a makeup artist for Paramount Studio. This is a written tutorial that was published in the Modern Beauty Shop magazine in 1943, and Eddie shares his tips on how to get a Hollywood makeup look and kind of his best practices for makeup. So I thought it'd be fun to try and follow that tutorial, see what we end up with. Generally, I find that 40s makeup is very flattering, but so far I have only followed tutorials that are made for the common woman, and even though this one is as well, it's at least done by a makeup artist of the stars. So maybe we'll get a little bit of a different result. So, step 1. Pat foundation cream over the entire face, even into the skin under the eyebrows. So in the 40s, we are kind of in between your vanishing creams and your colored foundations, pretty much as we know them today. What we're starting to see are vanishing cream type products. Vanishing cream would have been a cream that tightens the pores and kind of evens out the skin, leaves a little bit of a pearly finish. They started coming out with colored vanishing creams and also those pancake makeups that are often still used in theater nowadays. But many women still use just clear vanishing creams since they only came out in a couple of colors and they were usually meant for color correction almost. You were supposed to use a vanishing cream that would kind of correct anything that's wrong with your skin and then use a powder on top that would match your skin tone, and that was kind of where the color came from. So for my look today, I have decided to go with a product that is, I think, probably the closest thing to a vanishing cream that I have in my makeup collection, and that is this Porefessional Pore Minimizing Makeup Primer. The purpose of the vanishing cream is to make the powder adhere to your skin, which is also the purpose of a foundation primer. So this one claims to have a silky finish and minimize the appearance of pores. Sounds like a vanishing cream to me, and it is even a little bit tinted, even though I'm sure that will disappear as soon as I apply it onto my face. I'm gonna pat this over the entire face. Alright, so there's my base. Now, step 2 is use a sharp black pencil to line the eyelids for accent. Press and roll the pencil close to lashes, forcing the color down into the lash roots. Okay, I have a black eyeliner pencil here. I have sharpened it. I probably haven't sharpened it enough. Looking at this picture, his looks like it was sharpened with a knife, you know, just super, super sharp. But I'm gonna try and make it work anyway, so I'm going to be pressing and rolling this into my lashes. Wait, he is holding the eyelid up a little bit. Maybe that makes it easier. Oh, that does really help, actually. Okay, it's maybe not the quickest, most time-efficient way of applying eyeliner, but I must say it does look really nice. And again, my pencil probably isn't sharpened correctly. I'm guessing if my point was thinner, this would be a little bit easier to apply precisely. Because my biggest hardship right now seems to be getting a really thin line. Okay, but I think we're there, so let's move on to the next step. While eyeshadow is being applied, hold the lid taut and blend eyeshadow upward, no higher than the fold in skin. So I interpret this as you're supposed to apply just eyeshadow on the moving part of the eyelid. Now, in the 40s, generally they believed that the eyeshadow you should use is the one that matches your eye color. So blue eyeshadow for blue eyes, gray eyeshadow for gray eyes, brown eyeshadow for brown eyes. Eyeshadows were matte at this time, so I have a palette here. I'm gonna go for a bit of a natural color. I'm gonna use this eyeshadow right here. He's applying it with his fingers, so I'm gonna do the same thing. Hope for the best. Blend it up, but no further than the fold in the skin. That's very pretty. That is actually very pretty. Okay, let's do the other side. Not bad at all, I'd say. Got a bit of a smoky eye going on. It's maybe a bit too dark for everyday wear, but then again, this is kind of some star style makeup we're going for here. And most women wouldn't have worn any eyeshadow at all during the day anyway, so this is probably more of a nighttime look that we're doing here. So it seems that we're moving on to eyebrows, because he says, before applying pencil, brush brows upward. We can do that. Upper hairs are then used as a guide for the pencil. It seems that you just brush the hair up, if that actually does anything to your eyebrows. Mine are pretty stiff and don't really like to be moved. And then you're supposed to use the upper hairs as a guide for the pencil. To keep the arch of brows in the proper high line, brush brows upward into guideline, never downward. So are you supposed to only draw a line along the top of the eyebrow then? That's gonna be an odd look I haven't done before, I think. Brush brows upward into guideline, never downward. I'm not sure if I did this right. It looks a bit funny, but I think this is what I'm supposed to do. So let's do the same thing on my other eyebrow as well. Start with a futile attempt at brushing my hairs up, and then go along the top line with my pencil. You know what? This is different from how I would normally do my eyebrows, but it isn't actually all that bad. I would usually focus more on the bottom and leave the top sparse, but you know, this gives a bit of a fuller brow on me. But in the 40s, women would have plucked their eyebrows much more than we do nowadays. Alright, so we're moving on to lipstick. Now, the color of choice, of course, is red. I'm gonna bring out this one, my trusty old red lipstick that I like to use for historical tutorials. So he says that the aim of lip rouge lipstick is to make your lips balance. Brush rouge over one side of mouth before building the other side. I'm gonna use a little brush here, load it up, and do one side first and then the other. That's, again, I don't think I've ever done my lips that way, but let's just try it. By the way, before the actual tutorial starts, there's a little section where he rants about women who overdraw their lips. He's not a fan of that, so I'm just gonna assume I am to follow my natural lip line here and not overdraw. Overdrawing was very popular at the time. On the other hand, looking at the pictures of what he's actually doing, he is totally overdrawing the model's lips. He is creating that typical 40s lip shape where it's kind of like a wide arch. So, you know what, let me do that as well. I don't particularly like that shape on myself, but we're doing 40s here. Alright, 40s lip shape applied. So, to remove excess lip rouge from all surfaces evenly, blot with a folded tissue pressed against closed mouth. Do not close mouth over tissue. Whoops, that's how I've been doing it. Alright, so apparently you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do this creepy abduction looking thing. Alright, let's go. Didn't do that much, but okay. Blush, or cheek rouge. To brighten eyes, blend cheek rouge up under brows, but faintly. X indicates point of highest color. So I'm supposed to concentrate it around here and then kind of blend it up into my brow bone. They would have used a cream rouge. I don't have that, but you can use a lipstick for the same purpose. It's basically the same product, just the cream rouge would have been in a different container, maybe a little bit of a different consistency. But yes, this is where you concentrate. Ooh, that's a lot though. This is where you concentrate it, and then it's blended out into all of these places. Whoa, we're getting really 80s here. Whoops, way too much. Maybe it'll die down a little bit as my skin becomes less red. Oh, it actually looks really nice on camera. I didn't realize. In real life, it kind of looks like an allergic reaction, but on camera, it does look quite nice. So yeah, okay, let's do the other side. Alright, let's see, what's the next step? Powder! Powder is applied generously over face, including lips and lids, and is then carefully removed from the lids. Okay, definitely want to do lips last then, because I'm gonna have red blotches all over my skin. So as I mentioned, the powder would have been colored, so I'm gonna use my banana powder for that. It's the closest thing to a colored powder that I have, and it's somewhat of a match to my skin color anyway, generously. And from what I've seen in 40s makeup videos, like contemporary video makeup tutorials, when they say generously, they mean it. Not the best look, so what's next? Carefully removed from the lids. Okay, maybe I need to work it in a little bit more. Sometimes they let it sit and bake for a bit, but not this time apparently. Alright, that is much better and doesn't look very bad at all actually. I mean, of course, the banana powder isn't the best match for my skin color, but I think we get a pretty good idea of what something like this would have looked like in the 40s. For fresh sheen and a clear skin effect, wash completed makeup very lightly with a damp sponge. And he is using a natural sponge, a real sponge. I have one here, so let's wet it and wash my makeup. There we are. Now again, the tutorial isn't super clear on how to do this, but I have seen this before in other vintage makeup videos, and basically you just kind of press the sponge onto the makeup. And it very much reminds me of the early days of YouTube beauty guru-ness, when people would spray this Evian spray on their face. It just helps settle the makeup into your skin a little bit better, makes it look a little bit more natural. Moving on to the last step, which is step number 12. As a final step, stroke on mascara with side of brush, not tips of bristles, for fast and even application. I do not approve of the new wands. I'm afraid all I have available is the new type of wand. In the 40s, they would have used cake mascara, which was in a little tin. You had to add water to activate it and then just kind of brush over it to create this paste that you would then apply onto your eyelashes. And it was used with a brush like you see in this image. But I'm afraid I don't have that. They're pretty hard to come by nowadays. I know there are some vintage reproduction cosmetics companies that sell them, but I'm afraid I don't have any in my collection as of yet, so I'm gonna have to settle for a very controversial modern new wand mascara. And they would have applied it top and bottom. Here we are, 1940s makeup as per Eddie's sense. I have to say I'm very happy with this look. I think it looks great. I do think this is my best 40s makeup yet. Usually they go very light on the eye makeup and pretty heavy on the lips and cheeks, and that is just not my preferred look. I need a little bit more emphasis on my eyes to offset, you know, pretty dark brows and bright lips. I feel like there's just not enough contrast there. So this is definitely more to my personal taste. I feel like this is very flattering, very classic, elegant and feminine. I must say I like this very, very much. I think it's a good look. That brings us to the end of this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed following a 40s makeup tutorial with me. If you did, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for loads more beauty and lifestyle content. If you would like to support me through Patreon or my merch store, there'll be links in the description box below. Thank you so much for your support. There is another video here that I think you might also enjoy. You can go watch next. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye!